Morning! Today we're going to talk about hedges. Don't you switch off. We're going to talk about hedge laying. Here's my hedge. Do you like it? So right now, as you can see, if you look in the bottom here, there is just absolutely nothing in there. It's just completely open. The idea of hedge laying is what you do is you cut 7/8 of the way through and you lay the tree down and it thickens out the bottom, and then you stake and bind it, and then the hedge rejuvenates and shoots back up and becomes really thick and actually like a very decent habitat. All the creepy crawlies and stuff was also done back in the day to actually retain livestock. So it was used as a fence. It was like a living fence, which is pretty cool, which is kind of why I want to do it. I'm going to show you how to do that today, and it is quite a lovely finish. So back in the day, before we had like real mechanical machines, tractors and that, this is what the farmers on these estates like this used to do during the winter. So after the harvest is done, go and start laying hedges, and that was the work. But because during the war we needed to create food, I think the government paid us to rip the hedges out. I'm fairly certain a couple of people have told me that. They're now paying us to put them back. Crazy, eh? But anyway, because we ripped out all the hedges, I can't remember what the amount of hedges that we've lost, but it is like thousands and thousands of kilometers of hedges got ripped out. We lost the skill as well. You know, there was a whole generation of people that have sort of lost the skill of being able to lay hedges. But I went on a 2-day course, so obviously I can lay a hedge now, the classic. But yeah, so we're bringing hedge laying back. What we do is we start off with a hedge lay, and what we need to do is knock the sides off so that we can actually get physically to the base of the hedge. So to do that, we need Mike. Enter Mike. So once Mike has done his thing, it looks like this. For the last God knows how long, that's how hedges have been managed, with one of those flails. And as you can see on here, they've just been cut at the same height every year. And that's why they've got that real sort of bird's nest sort of knotting in it, because the plant bushes out and it's just hacked at the same place every time. And I can't lie, when you go along and see a hedge that's been like massacred into like the most perfect square, it is very pleasing on the eye. There is something really nice about it. So I'm not knocking you for doing it, but it is not the right thing to manage a hedge, just to sort of massacre it to death at the exact same height every year. So what they've done in this estate before I've turned up is they've let the hedges grow. I think for 3 years, maybe 2, because there was a bit of a communication glitch. But I think that's about 3 years growth. Might only be 2. So what you do is you let it go and then just trim it a little bit, and then let it go, trim it a little bit, and then what it does is it gives you the height, so that when you cut these and lay them, you've got the length. Lighters. So what you're trying to do is make this hedge thick. It's supposed to be stock proof, but actually what we're genuinely trying to do is also allow a nature corridor in these hedges, like a bit of habitat. It is also exceptionally pleasing on the eye. So to do this, what do we need? I'll tell you. Hazel. This here is hazel. So I'm told back in the day what you'd usually do is you'd find your stakes and binders. So a stake pins the hedge down, a binder then goes across the top and binds it all together to hold the hedge in place. You would usually find your material in the hedge, like that bit of hazel, but we're not going to get a great deal of material out of this, although there are a few bits of hazel along here. So what we need to do is go to the other end of the estate to go and actually harvest some hazel. As I mentioned, I went on a 2-day course to do this, and there's about, I think there's 3 kilometers of hedge to lay. Bearing in mind a good hedge layer can do like 25 meters in a day. It's quite a daunting task. So what I did is, the bloke who trained me, Michael, I invited him over to see if he wanted to come and like do a couple of days with me just to get me started, because I just forgot how to start. So Michael's going to be here today, and we're going to get hedge laying. Just before we go and get the hazel, what have you been asking? Where are the ducks? Do we still have the ducks? Yes, we do have the ducks. And we just kept 4. So we also have 4 guinea fowl. And an emotional support turkey, who's actually a real character. Oh mate. I'm told it's a female, which is fine. You be wherever you want, hun. So this is one of the woodlands on the estate. Beautiful, really beautiful place. And we are starting to coppice some of the hazel that's not been done for years. So this is the sort of stuff that's coming out. which isn't very good for us. What we're looking for is this sort of stuff. That there's good for a stake. These are a bit thin for binders. In fact, I have sort of pillaged that a fair amount. But this is just where the hazel's not been managed for a long time. There is a couple of stalls, they're called. Group of hazel trees like that, stall. What needs to happen is they need to be cut off. And then we got to wait sort of 5 to 7 years until we're gonna be able to get the material we need, the right material we need to be able to use on the hedge. But there are a few in here. Material's been a bit of an issue actually, trying to get some. There's not a lot of managed hazel woodland in Kent, so if anyone knows of any, hit me up. But there are a few stalls that have been cut before in there, like, I don't know who did that, but quite badly cut. One in here. See this? See, these should have been cut off at the floor. I don't know why they've been cut like half up, like a foot up. I don't really understand, but anyway, we're gonna cut this because this is where we're getting our stakes and binders. Yeah, I mean, as you're taking all that off over there like that. So that's all the stuff that we need. That's a really bad way of managing hazel. So you need to cut all that down to floor level now, but I've not actually got time this morning because we've got a lot to do. So I'm gonna leave that for another day. I'm gonna have to do that this winter though. But it's good because it means that if we do this whole area, actually, you know, it's starting to get the ball rolling for in the future, in 5 years time when we need some more. We know where to come and get it. Gonna harvest all these. And then Michael's up there with the bill hook just shaving off. I'll show you actually. So basically just doing that, like that, like a proper professional. Taking the edge off, oh. And then we're left with a bit, but then you're left with stakes like that go in, and then the bits that bind the stake, and these are the binders. What shocked me actually is that there's as much work in doing this as there is actually in laying the hedge. So there's almost more prep work in getting it done. So I'm gonna crack on now. 11 o'clock now. Started in here at 8:30 and that's what we've got. So stakes and the binders. Not a very easy wood to get them out of at all. Look how filthy this trailer is, not. I know. You don't have to say it, I know. It's because I sold my ball, partly. I think I'll tell you about that in the next video though. Right, I'm gonna load this up in the camera and then we're gonna lay a hedge. So, to start off, what you do is you make a cut, which is 4/5. It's the bloke who taught me everything I know standing behind me as I do this. 4/5 of the way through, is that right?
I think I said 7/8.
7/8 of the way through. So you cut at an angle like that, 7/8 of the way through, so that there's just a lip. It's called a pleach. So the life of the tree lives through that, and that little lip, the 1/8 that you leave on, is enough to keep the hedge alive. So it should look a bit like this. It looks pretty extreme, right? And then you just basically cut. That would be left on there like that, and you just cut that off as well. And then what happens is all the new growth grows out of here and grows upwards, and then this will all start sprouting out as well. So the hedge will just come back to life. Really, like, it's a way of rejuvenating the hedge, that's the aim. And obviously thickens up the bottom. So now look at the bottom of it. You see? So Michael's gonna show you how to do it now. No pressure. So it's a really good point. You sort of cut away, like, go heavy on the cutting. So you clear away all of this so that you can actually get to it. Michael said if you can't get to it, you can't do it. So don't be afraid to cut a lot out. And then you basically make sure that it can come away from the plant next to it, so you cut anything in between so that you can come away from it. then you just keep going, and then so once the hedge is pleached, we get a croissant from Greg's, part of the hedge laying experience. And this is where we use our stakes. So use a stake every arm width of arm, across all the way through. And then use the binders to bind along the top, and it gives a really cool finish to the top. I wish you could all see. I'm actually going to take a photo of my tripod because this is my best yet.
By the time we get up there,
There won't be many left. How many binders? We'll have enough binders, won't we?
Me, I drove around all across the land, thought that I was caught in a one-man band, but playing all those sad and lonely songs. My faith was lost, my hope was gone, my dreams were shattered.
As you go through the hedge as well, we're trying to leave things like this. This is a beach that hopefully, because it's obviously been massacred in a couple of years, that might be a really cool bit. We've left one down there as well. The other reason, was it birds hold their territories? Is that the...
yeah, they use them as cooling.
Yeah. So all the way across, and then every now and then just try and find a tree. So this one actually is quite an interesting one because we've half laid it. You can see we pleached that one, laid it down there, and then left that one up. I might just film you do one, and then it might make more sense than me trying to explain it. That's my contribution. See, like, cut a little slice off because it looks cool and it's easy to get in, ladies. In there like that, round, just weave alternatively. Nice. And then it looks pretty sweet. And then in a minute we'll go down and just you knock it all down to the same sort of height. Or if you're me, just knock it too far and forget that that's a thing, like I did yesterday. And then you knock it down to the same sort of height so it all looks quite good. So I'll show you. This is where we got to about yesterday. Somewhere here, look, here it is. There. Knock it down to the same-ish height. And go all the way along, and then the stakes are all different heights, so you just cut a 45 and give them all the same sort of finish. Actually, so Michael is the one that taught me how to do it, and I actually asked him to come and help me. I was just like, look, do you want a couple of days work? And just to sort of walk me through starting, because like an absolute hero, I started on a bend. I was like, how do I start this? Do you know what I mean? But actually it's really easy, and actually you have to kind of cut the first couple out. So there was actually a really nice hawthorn in there, down there, that had to come out, and then you lay the first and then you trim them up. And again, look, we've left there's a nice beach there, so we've left that beach, and then hopefully that'll get a chance now to go. And then every now and then as you're going through the hedge, you'll find a nice tree that you can just let go, or if there's not one, like I've just got to a gap up here, I'll actually plant a tree. It's actually surprisingly quite hard work, but there's something really satisfying about doing it. If you're into this sort of stuff, or if you're not, and you just wanted like a job outdoors, this is a really good one to get into, because there's a lot of subsidy for doing this. So you get paid for laying hedges now, and it's like there's not a lot of people around doing it. So if you're going on a course, Michael, rural courses, I'll put the thing here. Go and check him out, because he's hosting some courses and he's really good. And I learned to do this in 2 days. Do you know what I mean? So it's not actually hard, you just need to do it. So go and check out his courses, because there is a labour shortage of hedge layers now. So get out and do it.
My faith was lost, my hope was gone, my dreams were shattered and I was done. I was wrong.
That's my hammer. catch up on what I'm doing on the estate. A few people asked me how I'm getting on, and actually good now, really settling in nicely. And someone else said, what was it? Something like, am I missing working with sheep every day? The answer is no, not at the moment, but if I do miss them, they're there. So, you know, I am sort of working with them every day. I'm still electric fencing, we're grazing here, moving them, but I'm sort of moving them in the morning and then going out and doing work. So actually finding a really lovely sort of mixture of the two worlds at the moment. Whether it lasts or not, I don't know, but yeah, pretty cool. Right, we're gonna get this hedge done. I've not done any of the binds. Yesterday I did all the binding all the way up to there, and it's not a very good job. And then today Michael's done it, so I've had a bit of a treat. Anywho, gonna knock these bad boys in. What do you reckon then? So I was just told a fact. Always fact check this channel, remember? For every 50 meters or 100 meters, I'm not sure what it was, of hedge laid, there's an extra 2,300 bugs found, or bugs and animals and bits. Pretty cool. And I've actually just done between 50 and 100 meters, well between us, to be fair. Like, that's not boundless. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Cheeky tree. Ooh. How good does that look? Oh, nice sheep. Thank you. This might be my last YouTube for Christmas. This probably is the last one for Christmas. It's about a week away now, isn't it? So have a lovely Christmas, and thank you all very much for being here. I wouldn't do it without you. Bye.